What's good, y'all? It's your girl Anya Gray, aka the Unique Goddess, aka the Fluffy Barbie, and welcome back to my channel. If you are not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on my post notifications, and make sure you like and comment. I want to get to know my subscribers, so definitely hit me up in the comments. Let me know what type of videos you would like to see, what type of content you would like to see from me besides the content that I'm already going to start producing. So this is going to be a get ready with me slash story time. And this story time is basically my coming out story. I don't believe that my coming out story was that dramatic of a one. Yeah, we're just gonna get into it. Also, write down in the comments if you ever had to deal with, coming out. If there's something that you're still struggling with, okay? Because for me, I struggled the longest time with coming out. You know, coming out to my parents and my loved ones mainly. It was interesting because my sexual orientation was never a secret, but it wasn't something that I outwardly, spoke about. Not because I feared not being, accepted by my family, but I did fear, not, being judged, being misunderstood. Because of course, let's be honest, bisexual people are definitely, ostracized, probably one of the most ostracized part of the LGBTQIA community, because we get it from both sides. Like, let's be honest. It's always having to deal with, mainly cisgender heterosexual men, seeing you as, a fantasy. There's always fears of not being taken seriously by women, and also the negative stereotypes that come along with being bisexual. People thinking that we're confused, that we're selfish, that we need to pick a side and all this stuff. That we're very promiscuous and that we hop from one bed to the other and one gender to the other. Now, at the end of the day, you cannot tell somebody how to live their life, what to do with their body, or, who to be. But at the end of the day, people are going to judge you regardless of whether you live in your truth or not. So I say live in your truth. And that's exactly what I'm deciding to do, okay? So definitely let me know in the comments if you guys have ever had to deal with coming out, or you still haven't fully embraced that part of you. Know that I support you, and when you feel safe enough and you feel like you're in a space where you can, do that, definitely, live in your truth. We all have limited time in this human experience. So I say it's best to just live your life while you can, and, don't try to suppress who you are to make other people comfortable, because at the end of the day, but they do the same for you, and is suppressing who you truly are, to make other people happy, really the type of existence you want to have. Okay? So basically, I'm supposed to be telling y'all about my face while I tell the story as well. So this is just a eyebrow pencil that I got from the beauty supply store. Clearly, the whatever brand it was got wiped away. Only reason I'm using this is because I ran out of this one by LA Girl Cosmetics, but I still use the spoolie at the end, so that's the reason why I got this, because the spoolie on the end of this one broke. Irritating, I know. So yes, and the concealer I'm using for my brows is the Ruby Kisses HD Concealer Foundation in the Cool Tan. I don't know if you can see that. In the Cool Tan shade. All right, so let's get into this. For those of you who know me, know that I am a twin. And my twin is actually a part of the LGBTQIA community as well. He is a homosexual male, and he actually came out, I believe, junior or senior year of high school. Excuse me, high school, not college. And he came out to, I believe, that's his story, so I can't really tell it, but he came out to me and, of course, my mom and my dad and my brother in heaven, Christian. And even though he was afraid of being accepted and how our father was going to feel, and especially, he was greeted with a lot of acceptance, with a lot of, you know, love, even though it was a lot for my parents to wrap their minds around because they come from a very, I won't say conservative, but they come from Christian backgrounds, you know. So, and we have a Christian background too, obviously, not as, strong as when they were young, because one thing I can say about my parents, they didn't force us to go to church. We kind of decided ourselves that we wanted to, you know, have a relationship with God. But anyway, so he came out. It happened better for him than he expected. And of course, I'm happy for him, but just because he felt comfortable coming out doesn't mean I felt comfortable coming out. And it wasn't even just because, it wasn't because of, like I said before, bisexuals getting it from both sides, because I didn't know until I officially started to embrace my sexuality that we do get it from both sides. People, not wanting to accept our sexuality as being real, So my main reason for being afraid of coming out is much deeper. So not only was I afraid of how I was going to be perceived or anything, I actually am a sexual assault survivor. I and I'm not going to go into much detail about it because I'm still, healing from this moment in my past. But when I was a child, probably around 7 or 8 years old, I was sexually assaulted by an older female. Who that person is, it doesn't really matter. But it was someone I trusted. It was somebody that, you know, is supposed to have your back. You would think that, especially us being girls and us being close in age, that you would, that person would have your back. But unfortunately, I was being coerced into something that I still am dealing with. And I'm still forgiving myself, for not speaking up earlier. I'm still forgiving myself for the shame that I carried around something that wasn't my fault. It was more easier to forgive that person than it was to forgive myself, because I am my own worst critic. But yeah, it was very confusing. It was a very confusing time for me because, you're taught to, that being heterosexual is the way that you're supposed to be. Okay, well, so before I get into more of that story, I'm going to be using the Warrior palette by Juvia's Place, and I'm going to be using the shades Mino, Kano, and I don't know, what am I going to do for the lid? I can't, shoot, I've used it so many times. Morim. So, Mino, Kano, Morim. I hope I said those names right. But anyhow, so yes, me dealing with that, that caused a lot of confusion for me. And honestly, truly, I'm gonna be, of course, I keep it 100 all the time, but that wasn't my first, that was my first physical encounter with the same sex as when I was at that age. The girl who, coerced me into those acts, made me think it was okay. And it wasn't like she was an adult. She was, you know, in her early teenage years. So the reason why it was so easy for me to forgive and be forgiving of her was because I realized that hurt people. And she was a child herself. And I truly feel that she was doing what was done to her. But that's not my story to tell, nor is that my, baggage to carry. So I'm deciding to drop it off. I'm deciding to pack light. But anyway, I was always attracted to girls as a child. Nobody really knew it. I didn't understand it because I was a child, but there were several, encounters in my youth that I had with girls where I would feel this, like as kids, we don't know what it feels to be, aroused, but we have aroused moments. And people, you know, don't understand that as children, you can have moments where you feel aroused, you know, and not know what it means. But when I look back, I now know I was feeling aroused or, attraction to the same sex, people that I was cool with, people that I was friends with as a child. I actually felt some type of attraction to them and I didn't understand what it was because I'm a child. So it's like, I was attracted to girls before I was attracted to boys, to be honest. But, that's all you see, as a child. You see, Prince Charming, saving the damsel in distress. So, that's what's forced on you in a way. That's what's, expected. So that's what that's basically what you follow, is basically what you see as normal. So you automatically are going to try and live up to that. You know what I'm saying? So after that, like, situation when I was younger, I never really entertained being a lesbian or bisexual because, of course, I don't know what that shit is, So fast forward to when I get to high school, because, like I said, after that experience I had from being, sexually assaulted or molested as a child, I don't think I ever really looked at girls like that again. Besides the few times I was attracted to girls when I was, a child. But fast forward to my freshman year of high school, and I first joined drama club and everything. There was this girl who was a part of set crew. Basically, that's the crew where they, no, it wasn't set crew. She was props. So basically, when there was like set changes and like props needing to be set in certain places for like scene changes or like the top of the show and everything, she was like in charge of that crew. She was like a senior and I was a freshman. So basically, before I get into that part, I'm now moving on to the angel veil to prime my face, and then I'm going to go on with the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation in the shade of Rio 430. Okay, but anyway, so she said I can tell people's sexualities basically by just looking at them. And of course, my ass is like, yeah, right. Like, who can just look at somebody and tell their sexual preference? So me, I wish my damn family wasn't so loud, but hey, it is what it is. But anyhow, I asked her, I said, okay, well, what do you think my sexual preference is, right? You know, at this time, I'm still in denial about being attracted to women. I kind of just like blocked it out of my mind at this time. It's not like I force myself to like with men or something, because I am attracted to men. You know, I do find men attractive, but I just feel like it was a part of me that I, you know, just suppressed, because when you get to a certain age and you remember certain things from the past, you get confused. And I was very confused about my sexuality because of what happened to me in my youth. So when she said, you like you're afraid to be bi, bitch, I was like, and of course I didn't know what to say. I was like, damn, how the fuck did she just read me like that? But hey, one thing about us women, we're very intuitive. So, you know, I respect her and I thank her honestly for, I don't even remember the girl name, but I'm grateful that she ended up calling me out, you know, and calling my bluff, because she was right. I was afraid of being bi. I was afraid of being judged. I didn't really understand my sexuality. You know, I didn't know if my sexual assault as a youth contributed to my attraction to girls, when in all actuality that was not the case. So, and on top of the fact, when you know, start to, there was a situation where I asked a certain person that I was cool with at the time, you know, that was when I first started opening up about my sexual molestation, because I never had told anybody, you know, and unfortunately I told complete strangers before I told my actual family, you know, people I thought that were my friends and I thought had my back, but I don't even talk to them people no more. But basically, for my clarity, I was asking, would you count that as molestation? You know, because the girl was older, but she was still a child herself, because we were both girls, it was just very confusing for me. And I should have not gone to people who were in high school who don't really know either. But I was just really like struggling with that memory and dealing with it, and especially struggling with my own, you know, sexual preference that I am trying to, you know, avoid or hide from. So one of the people that I confided in when I was in high school said, do you think that's why you think you're bisexual? It's because you were molested by a girl? And it's like, what type of response? Like, I, it just really made me further not want to come out, not want to be real with myself or with anybody else, because that made me feel shame. It made me feel guilt. It made me feel like, so because you were coerced into doing something that wasn't right, you know, that you didn't deserve, now you're bisexual because of it. So yeah, that's a lot of shit to carry, but you know, moving forward. So after that, I never really claimed bisexual for real until a couple years later in high school. I decided I was gonna, since my brother came out, I was gonna come out. And he came out to our mom first, so I decided to do the same. And of course, my mom kind of had the same type of concerns about what your father's gonna think. And, you know, when I came out to her and said I was bi, she was like, oh, so you're fluid? And I was like, fluid? At first, I didn't really know how to take that because I felt like it was more so dismissive at the time, like not, thinking that that's the way they spoke about, certain things when she was younger. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, they had their certain names for lesbians, for, homosexual men and things like that. I guess people who, are bi, they called them fluid. So at the time, I took it offensively. I was like, I didn't feel like my sexuality was being respected at the time. On top of the fact, she was concerned about how my dad was going to think. So I didn't really speak on it again for years, especially to her or to anybody besides of course, my brother and people I was friends with at the time who were also, coming out, in high school. So those are the only people I really was honest with. Why the fuck are y'all so loud? Anyway, so also another reason why I decided to keep it to myself, like I said, it never really was a secret, but it wasn't really something I really talked about openly because I didn't want people in my business or people to feel that they could judge me. But yeah, I've heard the way that my father talked about bisexuals, and he didn't always say the nicest things about bisexuals. Basically, he feels like that is disgusting, that you should pick a side, basically kind of comparing it to people having preferences for little kids and animals, which has nothing to do, with the other. So yeah, after hearing your father talk about bisexuals, which didn't make sense how you can accept, the other, members of the LGBTQIA community, but when it comes to bisexuality, it's like, I don't know. Like I said, bisexuals get it from both sides because it was when I started to really embrace bisexuality when I started to hear how lesbians felt about bisexuals and things of that nature. So it's just like, at the end of the day, I learned you gotta let people just be who they are, and everybody is entitled to their opinion, but that doesn't make it fact, especially in my case. It was very triggering, especially because I was molested and I didn't, come out about being sexually assaulted as a child to my family until during the pandemic last year. So you can only imagine, how hard that was. And I'm still, kind of keeping my identity to myself when it comes to my dad. So it wasn't until recently that my dad actually found out. And child, it was interesting. So he actually found out when I publicly posted my coming out on my recent birthday post. I recently turned 27. So yeah, I'm doing the contour now with this just a contour palette I got from the beauty supply store from Absolute New York. But yeah, that was where he found out because I had already vowed that I was just going to take that to the grave, or by the time he found out is when I don't know. I don't know when or if I ever planned on actually telling him, but he just started kind of to catch on to things. Like, he one time caught me looking at this web series called Lipstick. It's like a lesbian YouTube series. Because at this time I was getting into more of, you know, embracing my attraction to women. because like I said, for the longest time, I suppressed it because of all of these opinions about bisexuals, me not understanding my own sexuality, me carrying my own demons. So it was when I decided that I was just going to embrace, you know, dating women again, because I had my first woman experience in college and that shit went left. I had stopped dealing with girls ever since. I had to have been I'm trying to remember because this was a while ago now. Thank God I'm past it. But the first girl I actually opened up to and who took, I say, my girl virginity, I had to have been 19 or 20 years old at the time. And at this time, I had forced myself to fuck with niggas just because I just didn't want to, you know, even entertain that part of me. You know, I felt like it was, you know, I really literally tried to force myself to say that I'm attracted to women sexually, but I can never see myself dating a woman, you know. Quickly that changed when I got into it with a certain woman in college. And that is a whole nother story time that I will be filming soon. So stay tuned for that one. But after she fucked me over, it was like I was just dating men, you know, from that point on. So I just decided now I'm 27 years old. I'm going to live in my truth. I'm not going to allow what other people say or the betrayal of one female to stop me from possibly finding my person, because no shade to the men out here, but the pickings are scarce. And not saying that women are any better, because I've been betrayed by a woman and that shit hurt worse than a shit. That was probably one of the most painful situations I've been in when it comes to dealing with somebody, was being betrayed by that woman, because on top of the fact we were friends first, it didn't end well. Story time coming soon. But anyway, okay, I just highlighted my face with this setting powder. Well, not highlight. I'm setting my face with this setting powder by NYX or NYX Professional Makeup. Can't Stop, Won't Stop. And it is the banana powder. All right, so now I'm going to put these lashes on, utilizing my INB Super Stronghold eyelash adhesive. I love using the black adhesive, so if I do decide to do like a liner or something, it'll just dry black. Now I'm actually out of liner, that's why, oh, that's the wrong brush. That's why I'm just using the adhesive, because at the same time it still looks like liner, so who won't really be able to check me, period. But yeah, I started watching more, lesbian things, like really like trying to learn more about, dating women, because I've only ever dealt with one woman. And well, at the time, because I've thankfully had some experiences since then, but at the end of the day, I was like, I'm gonna be who I am. So my father actually saw me watching lipstick, and he's trying to ask me, am I a lesbian? And baby, I was like, I'm not a lesbian, but I'm attracted to women. Now you would think that if I say I am not a lesbian, but I'm attracted to women, then that means I'm bisexual. He didn't really say nothing about it at the time. He just went on about his business, but it wasn't until I made that post on my damn birthday last year, which, if y'all don't know, my birthday is in December. I'm a Sagittarius, so this was recent. Yeah, and he pretty much, let me know that how he felt, which I already knew how he felt because he said the same shit years ago. But he let me know how he felt about bisexuals and how he didn't feel like it's immoral, it's nasty, blah 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 blah. And I'm not gonna lie, it did hurt my feelings, but at the end of the day, I already knew how he felt, so I wasn't surprised. And at the end of the day, I love my father. I know he loves me. I know he just wants me to be happy, even if he doesn't understand or agree. So, yeah, that's my coming out story. Technically, I didn't come out to the internet until a few weeks ago. And me and my father have just come to an understanding that he is going to respect my decisions, even though he doesn't agree. And he just wants me to be happy, regardless. So, yeah. So that's my coming out story. So as y'all can see, I'm wrapping up my face. And that pretty much wraps the story. Like I said, it wasn't, I mean, I kind of played it down when now that I look back, in all actuality, I guess it is kind of, it's kind of much. I mean, I don't know. I'm a very strong individual. Sometimes I need to stop being so strong and not be afraid of my own vulnerability. And that's why that's why I want to do with this YouTube channel is be more vulnerable. Not only with you guys, but with myself, because I don't really deal with, things well. I will eat my problems, or I'll, use other forms of escapism like people and, of course, alcohol or, weed to escape those things. So this is me living in my truth. Like I said, no matter what anybody has to say about it, I am a proud queer woman. And honestly, I've gone between bisexual and pansexual for a long time because I am attracted more so to the spirit of the person than how the person looks and the gender of the person. I feel that bisexuals need somebody who's going to, or need people who are going to stand in their truth regardless of what people think or say about us. So, yep, I'm bisexual and proud of it. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm probably going to speed up this process just so you guys see, how I finish my face. Basically, I'm going to dust off this setting powder, and then I'm going to put this, it's another thing from NYX, Stay Matte But Not Flat Powder Foundation. This is basically my finishing powder that I just going to distribute across my face. Okay. You ever see that meme where somebody say if you put your lashes on by hand that you're a serial killer? I was like, why do I gotta be a serial killer? Bruh. But anyway, I'm about to add the finishing touches to my face. I'm going to fill in my moles, add some blush to put some color on my face. Okay. And I'm just using the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place. And I'm using this orange color here. Smile. And then I'm going to use my mascara. And it's one thing I like to do, because I haven't tried putting on bottom lashes yet, is I just use my mascara and I create little dots on the bottom of my bottom lids to create the illusion of bottom lashes, because my lashes are very fine, so you can't really see them even when I put mascara on. And I just use this eyeliner from NYX. I can't even think of what it's called, but it's the matte eyeliner. I don't really like any other liner except for that one, and I need to get more of it. All right, and then I'm going to set my face, add my highlight and my lip. All right, now I'm going to highlight, and then I'm going to sign off this video. So I'm speeding up this portion of the video so you guys can, just get an overview of the finishing touches on my face. So right now I'm using the Nubian 2 palette by Juvia's Place in the shade of Kenya to line my lips. As you can see, makeup's so versatile. You can literally use different things for different things. You know what I'm saying? I literally use eyeshadow as my blush in this video as well. And when you are missing certain products and you're in between store runs, you can always make some shit shake. Like I've done my eyebrows with eyeshadow before, so you can do anything virtually as long as it's, it looks good with your skin tone, of course. So now I am doing my highlights, and I highlight my brow bone and my T-zone, and I'm using the Honor Roll highlighter by the Crayon Case. Shout out to my girl Super. And as y'all can see, highlight is my favorite part. Period. Okay, so gotta make sure I'm shining bright like a diamond. Okay. So after I finish that portion, I am going to finish my lip, and the products I will be using for my lippy, I am going to be using the Lingerie liquid lipstick by NYX in the shade of Corset. And after I apply that color in between the liner, I'm going to finish it with the Gloss Bomb by Fenty Beauty. And I believe this shade is the slippery glass shade, the clear one, basically. After I finish that, I want to tell you the concealers I use because I forgot to mention them. So the lighter one I use in the corner of my eye is the LA Girl concealer in the shade of medium beige. And the one I use on the rest of my face is also from Juvia's Place, and it is the concealer in the shade of number 13. Below, if you want to do more get ready with me's, if you guys want to hear more story times and what type of story times you would like to hear. And I am about to film that story time that I told you about, so be on the lookout for that. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted about when I upload. Shout out to the Only Goddess gang for the people who made it to the end of this video, and I'll see you guys next time.